What is up guys, AshPFC here bringing you my top 10 games of the year so far, since it's only June. Yeah, we're only at the halfway point, close to... It's unbelievable, isn't it? As soon as I start recording, some kid gets his lawnmower out. He's not going to stop, is he? And as soon as the lawnmower stops, the cat starts kicking off. And the lawnmower starts again. Brilliant. Wasting my time here. An entire day later he can finally crack on with the video. Shimmy cup. Unbelievable. Right, anyway, so top 10 games of the year so far. So I'm doing it at this midpoint of the year because, well, one, we've already had some pretty amazing stuff come out in this first half, and two, plenty of potentially amazing stuff still to come in the second half, so it'll be interesting to see just how much this list could change between now and the end of the year, because of course, you know, a few months' time we officially enter the 8th generation of gaming, which is mental. How has that happened already? Where did the 7th generation go? It seems like 2 seconds ago I was in the 4th generation, which was my first. The glory days, I call it. The 16-bit era, but, you know, here it is. But it's shaping up to be one hell of a year for gamers. It's already been amazing so far. You could argue that this first half of this year is better than the entire of last year. Pretty good, you know, with the next gen coming and stuff. Well, Microsoft have kind of brought the year down a little bit. In fact, they've kind of brought the next generation down a little bit with that horrible excuse of a system. It's not a video games console, it's a system. It's an all-in-one entertainment device. The Xbox One. So thank you, Microsoft, for ruining it for us all. Alright, I'm slacking Microsoft off. Big Windows logo in the background. But anyway, let's get on with it. My top 10 games of the year so far. So up at number 10, it's one that I'm probably going to get lynched for putting this in my top 10 games of the year, since I seem to be like one of the only people on the planet that actually like this. It's DMC Devil May Cry the reboot. Everyone hated it, long-time fans, and I am a long-time fan. I've done a review for a lot of these games I'm about to mention now. I have done a review, so you know, you want to get a more in-depth look at my opinion on these games and stuff, you can just check out my playlist. But yeah, Devil May Cry reboot, obviously the big thing was the new look for Dante, which everyone hated. A lot of people couldn't see past that. Never really give it a chance. There's some big changes. But I still liked it. I'm a die-hard Devil May Cry fan. DMC 3 is one of my favourite games of all time. And yeah, I much prefer old school Dante, and yeah, I way prefer the old look and feel of the old games. I do hope Capcom will go back to the way Devil May Cry used to be, but I still enjoyed the reboot. I really enjoyed some of the boss fights, the music was good, but yeah, I'm pretty much on my own for that. Like I said, I'm going to get lynched for sticking that game in my list, but hey, as Microsoft would say, deal with it. Alright, and for number 8, it's God of War Ascension. Yeah, awesome game. I do consider it like one of the weakest in the series, but you know, it's a strong series, so that isn't a bad thing. It's still one hell of a game. Graphics are incredible. Some really cool sequences and the good old quick time event stuff that gets done in God of War. Awesome boss fights, brutal and bloody as hell. And the final boss is like unbelievable. It's like one of the most epic bosses in the entire series. It could top Poseidon, not 100% sure here, but you got to see it to believe it. It's nuts. It definitely goes out with a bang. But you know, overall, I just didn't think it wasn't quite as epic because it was like a prequel, and obviously God of War 3 raised the bar so high, and it was obviously, you know, the final part of Kratos' quest for vengeance by, you know, ripping Zeus's face off and stuff. So yeah, but God of War Ascension, number 9, still a hell of a game. And for number 8, it's a zombie game. Despite me slagging zombie games off left, right and centre in most of my videos recently, it's State of Decay, an open world survival with RPG elements zombie game, and it's pretty much the zombie game I've been waiting for. I mean, I'm sick of a lot of these shit zombie games coming out, because they keep coming out, like the new World War II games. In fact, they've gone way beyond that. They just, every freaking week there's like a million zombie games coming out, and so many of them are shit, but State of Decay was the one I've been waiting for, and it's only an arcade title. It's like 1,600 Microsoft points. It's one hell of a deal for what you get. It's one of the best zombie games in years. It's just so much fun with the whole survival aspects and stuff, and it's brutal as hell. And despite, you know, it is low budget, it is an indie game, but it doesn't stop it from being amazing. And it's selling pretty well. I do believe it's done over 500,000 sales, well, you know, downloads in the short time it's been out. And developers did say that if it sold well, they had some sort of multiplayer component. So fingers crossed for co-op, because that would be just amazing. So State of Decay, it's like the ultimate zombie game, it's amazing, so yeah. And for number 7, it's Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, which this game is awesome. So this is a downloadable title again. It's not DLC, because it's not content for Far Cry 3. I wouldn't ever include DLC on this sort of list, because they're not separate things. This is a standalone game, and it was just awesome. I just loved the whole, how different it was, and how Ubisoft just went their own way, and how, you know, it didn't take itself seriously. It was purposely cheesy and badly written. And the 80s whole futuristic theme was awesome, big blast of nostalgia, and yeah, it just one hell of a game. So much fun, such a little fun little title from Ubisoft there, and I really hope that they'll, you know, make Blood Dragon into a separate series, because that would be amazing, because I love this game. It was freaking awesome. So yeah, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. For number 6, it's Metro Last Light. Again, something a little bit different in the first-person shooter series, with the whole, you know, horror and survival aspects to it. Was all sorts of fun. Loved the atmosphere, loved how gloomy and dark it was. Did creep me out a little bit down the metros, because I do kind of shamefully do have a little bit of arachnophobia, so even if you played this game you'll understand why that's a bit of an issue for me. But yeah, it was awesome. Graphics were amazing, so much attention to detail. Story was really well done, like I said, just the atmosphere was awesome. And you don't want to read about some of the conditions that the developers had to work under. If they are all true, it's amazing how they pulled out a game as good as Metro Last Light, and it really does put some of these big boy companies to shame, you know, with some of the crap they can churn out under very good conditions. So credit to those guys. And yeah, Metro Last Light, hell of a sequel to Metro 2033, and I really hope we get another Metro game, because Metro Last Light was awesome. At number 5, it's Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I can never get its friggin' name right. Terrible name, but what a hell of a game. Yeah, I was a little bit miffed at first when I found out that this was what it was, like a fast-paced hack and slash, polar opposite to Metal Gear Solid. But then I started to realise, well, you know what, it's not Metal Gear Solid, it's not trying to be Metal Gear Solid, it's just Metal Gear spin-off, and it turned out to be awesome. But it's by Platinum Games, so they're one of the best developers going right now, and it's just all sorts of fun. It's worth playing just for the soundtrack. This game is incredible, and it's brutal as hell, just slicing enemies up into pieces in slow motion is amazing. For Christ's sake, you get to chop a Metal Gear Ray in half. What's more awesome than that? It's such an awesome game. But yeah, it is a little bit short though. I beat it in like, it was about 5 hours, and yeah, I think it was 5.5 hours I beat it in. Which isn't really unreal, is it, that, when you pay full price for a game? But, you know, I think because it's goddamn fast paced is one of the main reasons. You just blow through it. But yeah, still one hell of a game. Metal Gear Solid Rising: Revengeance. Terrible name. But number 4, it's the Tomb Raider reboot, which is by far my favourite Tomb Raider of all time. Now, I am a Tomb Raider fan, not a diehard, but I way prefer that this is the sort of direction, you know, I want Tomb Raider in. This was just like so my thing, just a more realistic look to it instead of that cartoony style that the old ones had. It's dark, it's brutal, it's gritty, it's just so awesome. And obviously it was heavily inspired by Uncharted. There's a lot of similarities to Uncharted in there, with, you know, some of the where stuff happens, like chase sequences and stuff collapsing all the time, and some of the climbing mechanics and stuff. And it was just so good, you know, and especially, you know, watching Lara transform into this, from this like scared little girl to sort of the badass survivor, and she's like, you know, crying shit's got to get done. Yeah, oh, I loved it. I loved it so goddamn much. It's my favourite Tomb Raider ever, and I really hope they'll get at least one more game, like just a sequel to this. Will be fine. I mean, just at least another one more like this in this style of Tomb Raider, because it was amazing. And coming in number 3 is one of the best JRPGs I've played in years. Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch, the PS3 exclusive. Holy crap, was this game good. I mean, I'm a huge fan of JRPGs, well, you know, especially old school ones, old school Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy and what have you. But the JRPGs, they kind of, yeah, they're dying out a little bit. A lot of them have changed direction. Final Fantasy, perfect example. A lot of them going more action focused, and a lot of them just don't seem to have that magic anymore. But Ni no Kuni was like such a throwback to the old school ways of JRPGs. It's got blends of Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest and Tales of, and even bits of Pokemon in there. I mean, it's like really traditional and old school, but at the same time it still brings new things and still manages to sort of innovate and be amazing. Oh my god, just like I said, one of the best JRPGs I've played in years. It's so much fun. Drippy, the sidekick, he's one of the best sidekicks ever. He makes this game himself. He's like so funny, he's unbelievable, and just so much fun. I love the whole battle system, and, you know, getting all your little monster things to do your fighting for you, leveling them up, and the story was great as well. Great soundtrack, just classic old school style JRPG, and just freaking amazing. Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch. Just like, wow, what a JRPG. So, yeah. And number 2 is The Last of Us. Like, wow, this game is just unbelievable. I only just beat this game like a couple of days ago prior to recording this. And I think it's safe to say it's Naughty Dog's best game. For those who don't know, Naughty Dog did Uncharted, so I really think it's better than all the Uncharted games. It's just, wow, there's the whole post-apocalyptic thing. Even though it's been done 1,000 times before, it was still amazing. The Infected, they were awesome and pretty intimidating, trying to sneak past most of these guys, particularly if they spotted you and chasing you. The attention to detail in the environments was awesome. You're going through all sorts of stuff. Old derelict houses, through little towns, like, you know, ruined highways, into abandoned hotels and bars and underground flooded tunnels. They really nailed the whole, you know, end of the world, post-apocalyptic, you know, humanity on the brink of destruction thing. It was amazing. The story was incredible and so brutal as well. It was like crazy amounts of brutal, and you know, the relationship between Ellie and Joel was really well done. Incredible voice acting, and there's the graphics, like arguably the best graphics on console. It was just incredible, and it is the highest rated game of the year. I'm sure many people will put it as their top game of the year, but that's not quite the case for me. As amazing as it is, and it is one of the best PS3 games I've ever played, and one of the best games of the generation, but no, it's not my top game of the year. My top game of the year is the one and only BioShock Infinite. I mean, just, wow, this, words can't describe how much I love this game. It's one of the best games I've ever played, and the screen just did go out and it's gone a bit dark, but it's a piece of art. I honestly consider it to be a piece of art. The story in this game is just one of the best stories ever. Ken Levine is a genius. He is a genius. I don't know how he comes up with this stuff, but I mean, just wow. I mean, graphically it's amazing. The whole Columbia thing looks incredible. The artwork's amazing. The soundtrack's incredible. The characters are all awesome. You know, Booker and Elizabeth. That was just amazing, and just wow, it was such a mindfuck. I'm sure there's a lot of people that still don't quite understand what exactly happened in that game, like what? But it's just amazing how it, you know, it gets you thinking. It's not just, alright, I beat the game, that was fun, what's next, you know? It was just, it stuck with me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure it stuck with a lot of people who are still thinking about it once you've played it. It left an impact. Not many games can do that, and not many movies can do that, and I was just like, wow, wow, holy shit, what did I just play? And just, oh, one of the best first-person shooters ever. I think it tops the original BioShock, I really do. And that is kind of a bold statement, but yeah, BioShock Infinite, just a piece of art. Just incredible. So, yeah, that's my top game of the year so far, but I'm quite confident it's going to stay my top game of the year. I can only really see one game topping it. Obviously GTA 5, but I'm still not 100% sure, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, that's my top 10 games of the year so far. Remember, they're only my opinions, so what am I trying to do? Trying to defend my opinions on the internet? I've been around long enough for that doesn't work. You're not allowed an opinion. I've been on YouTube for 7 years now, I should know better, so I'll get some hate for it, but I don't give a shit. But yeah, that's my list. I still think it's a pretty impressive list, all those games, just for the first half, and like I said, there's plenty more to come, so this list could change up a lot. You know, we've still got Lords of Shadow 2, Batman Arkham Origins, what else have we got? Obviously Grand Theft Auto 5, Killzone 4, Mario & Luigi Dream Team, Rome 2, Total War, Tom Clancy's The Division, looks amazing, one of my most anticipated, Watch Dogs. So yeah, plenty still to come. So like I said, this list could change quite a lot coming towards the end of the year. So hell of a year for gamers. So yeah, my top 10 games of the year so far. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you in whatever the hell video I decide to make next.